Hey everybody, Blind Man Travels here. This is the footage that I made from my visit of the National Museum of Nuclear Science and History with NCAP when I was in Albuquerque. So, will I get lost in the nuclear waste like in a Fallout game? Or will I find my way through? Stay tuned to find out. Hit like and hit subscribe while you're here. I've noticed that YouTube is starting to light up on the like and the subscribe button when I say hit like or hit subscribe, but it only seems to be doing it, at least for right now, on the videos that do get more views. So of course, keep on watching the videos to make sure that they do get enough views. If YouTube starts putting advertising on a video, they're also going to start that functionality on the video where it'll light up when I say hit like or hit subscribe. So always keep on watching the videos and hitting like and hitting subscribe, because that really does help the channel grow. Alright, it looks like we got the periodic table here.
Yes.
You're fine. I'm just gonna walk right out into it here. So that's pretty cool, guys. Oh, that's aluminum. That's what airplanes are made of, usually. Except when they're carbon fiber. Oh, boron, aluminum. Galenium. Is that silicon over here? Oh yeah, it is silicon. Carbon, nitrogen, we're getting into the gases. Oxygen, sulfur. It's all very, very cool. It's a nice touch to have it in the tile here. Based in astrospace. Okay. I like there's President FDR. So this is a timeline of events here, it looks like. So, pathway to discovery, because the Germans got close to discovering, got close to developing a nuclear explosive before the Americans did, but they failed. So this is just a, Marie Curie. Theory of radioactivity, and apparently she was dead because of her experiments on herself by interacting with radioactive substances, if I remember my history correctly. There's young Albert Einstein before he got famous for his messy hair, although he wasn't conventional even back then. And then this was what I was talking about, who would be first. November 1938, two German chemists, Otto Hahn and Fritz. I'm not going to try to pronounce that conducted experiment whereby they bombarded uranium atomic number 92 with neutrons. They expected the uranium to atom to capture a neutron and grow into something larger, atomic number 93. Instead, they were shocked to find that this bombardment resulted in the production of beryllium atomic number 56. Appeared the uranium atom had split, which was a theoretical impossibility at that point in time. If I remember, Einstein, of course, was living in Germany, was where he did a lot of his work, and he happened to be Jewish, and he was able to leave, and I want to say 1935, if I'm not mistaken. So this was the Einstein letter, the infamous Einstein letter. To FDR. Let's see if I can get this to focus in. Dr. Albert Einstein. Yeah, it wasn't that one's not from FDR. I don't think. But FDR is right over there. So, if we got a timeline of events. That's interesting. There's the Third Reich right there. And the leader of the Third Reich. And of course the Holocaust, which was hurting Jewish people, which is what led to Einstein leaving, among other scientists and engineers in Germany at the time. This looks pretty cool. This looks like some period stuff here. Is that supposed to be a Geiger counter there? Rattling? Sure sounds like a Geiger counter to me. So we got a map of that's New Mexico, and that's the bombing range just north of El Paso there. This stuff is pretty cool if you like science or history, like me. Research Committee, Office of Scientific Research. That looks like a model train. Can't really read that, but it looks like it's designed for shipping materials. That looks almost like a vintage camera to me. Looks like those are testing stands. Let's see, where's this airplane? Is that the Enola Gay? Yeah, that's the Enola Gay. The pilot named it after his mother, because it happened to be his mother's name was Enola Gay. And that was what was used to drop the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I can't tell that. But I do know that this one does say Enola Gay on it right there. And if you look inside the cockpit, it looks pretty detailed too. So that is pretty good. The 509th Composite Group. I don't know if I can play this, but I do like the it says please do not touch. Okay, I'm not touching it. It's a vintage Zenith radio. That's really cool. That probably took a while for the vacuum tubes to warm up in it. Is that supposed to be the bombing site? I can't tell what kind of gear that is, but it sure looks like a bombing site or something that you would find in the... Yeah, that looks almost like a bombing site. Suppose you could drop a bomb in a pickle jar. Not like that really worked, but yeah. Oh yeah, this is the Poseidon Conference between world leaders that were carving up Europe at the time because Germany had surrendered when they were getting ready to drop. So if I'm correct here, that's probably a replica of fat man right there. And that's Fat Man and Little Boy. Of course, they're both crude by today's standards. But that was all the industrial might of the United States behind it. The 1942 Packard Custom Limousine. Well, that's definitely a limousine. That looks like a really big car, too. Really heavy. The Packard Clipper. That's still a huge car. Looks like a prototype for the Manhattan Project. Look at all those wires there.
Matched in their home. Bakers composed the entire floor of the Japanese house. And very frugal, this farmer is taking every grain of rice off the stalk. Then those stalks are put up on bars in his yard and will dry for a week or two before they start working them. Now, here are pictures made in 1984. The Fukuya department store is where we made the other pictures. But they have built another 2 or 3 stories up and have a new modern building. And our Kodachrome in 1984 was not as good as the Kodachrome we used in 1945. Looking out one of the windows from the top of the Fukuya department store, we see umbrellas set up for a restaurant on another building next door. A very modern outside elevator exists. And now, this city has been rebuilt.
Yep.
These are pictures made just 10 years ago when we were over there.
A few years ago when I went to Hiroshima,
order and the cleanliness of these streets.
it was, you wouldn't
Tokyo
even believe that
never
there
a
was
cigarette butt on the floor.
any nuclear
Cab drivers here in
detonation
Hiroshima
there,
all wore white gloves.
except for the
And incidentally,
atomic dome.
most of the people get about in the streets with scooters. bicycles, motorcycles. I guess now they're using rollerblades, but there were very few of those when we were there.
No,
This
it's
is
the
in 1984.
That's the
This is
80s
in
in
the area,
Japan.
Hiroshima, that was all burned down 40 years before.
Okay, so these are origami peace. This is awesome.
Occupation and Reconstruction of Japan. I could talk a lot about this as I've been to Japan.
Edwina, how you doing? Welcome in, man. Welcome, man. Sadako Sasaki. I'm here with Blind Man Travels. Make sure you sub the game as well. Blind Man Travels. Modern day Hiroshima. Hiroshima. Fully recovered and is now a very healthy Peruvian city.
Yeah, you wouldn't even believe that there was any atomic destruction there if you went to Hiroshima now.
I believe it. Yeah, based on the picture there, there's no based on the picture here, there's no resemblance of it at all.
No, they have the they call it the atomic peace dome or something like that.
Okay.
It's like deconstructed as it was because that was right above where the explosion happened, but they've left that in a ruined state. But most of the rest of the city, if not all the rest of the city, is pretty much like any other modern city in Japan. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yes, Edwina, yes. Blind Man. Edwina says hi.
Hi, Edwina.
Yes, and I am streaming on my third channel. Yeah, Edwina.
Following the end of World War II, relations deteriorated quickly between the United States and the USSR, one-time allies against the Nazis. This would come to be known as the Cold War. The division of Europe after the war had pitted the Western allies and the Soviets against one another.
So if that blast would hit Mexico, well, this is about what it looks like. This is about what the blast area would have done.
Acquisition of puppet or satellite regimes throughout Europe that created a stranglehold described by Winston Churchill as
The Universal Diamond Villages.
the American
On
people
July 16,
already nervous from
1945, Central New Mexico's Rosa Basin witnessed the world's first detonation of a nuclear weapon. People saw and heard detonations as far away as Albuquerque and El Paso. The military did not reveal the exact nature of the highly secret test to the public. Instead, a cover story of an explosion at an ammunition storage facility was invented by General Leslie Groves, the head of the Manhattan Project. It is not until the war that the exact nature of the blast became known.
the Cold War escalated with a
Yep.
Soviet power play to control
They
Western
kept it a
allies
secret.
including post-war Berlin, Germany. The result was a humiliating
Really, Edwina,
embarrassment to the
really?
Russians as the
Wow.
Western allies put forth a massive relief effort
College
called the
putting use
Berlin
in the nuclear weapons complex. Tennessee Valley Authority, Grand Coulee, and
That's really interesting to see that
trade war.
scale.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
The United States strengthened its position against the USSR and formally allied itself with the Western European states by establishing the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Wanting to show strength, Russia's premier, Joseph Stalin, pushed the Cold War to a crisis in 1949 as he ordered a test detonation of the first Soviet atomic device, sending a shockwave throughout the United States and
There's a ramp here, so careful there, blind man.
Okay.
that moment, the
I'm with you.
atomic showdown began. And in only 5 short years,
World after World War II.
test a menacing super hydrogen bomb on November 22nd, 1955.
Civilians and casualties.
The Grand Coulee and Bonneville dams after World War II.
And all the protesters against the war. Yeah, all war is already illegal.
Yeah, we had to rebuild Europe, rebuild Japan. Of course, the thing to remember is that Harry Truman had only gotten on the ticket because they knew FDR was dying, so they put Harry Truman on the ticket because he was a moderate within the party, and he didn't have any experience. He'd been a senator from Missouri, but he did not really have any experience in any executive position. He's the last president not to have a college degree. But for not having a college degree, he did okay for himself. Oh, Operation Downfall and the Invasion of Japan. It was planned. And I think that's that's Douglas MacArthur, who was pompous because he wanted to run for president in 1948. And Chester Nimitz. Let's see, who do we have here? This looks like the defense of Japan. I got you. Let's see. Oh yeah, because Japan was because Olympic was the planned invasion of Japan, and it was supposed to happen in 3 stages. Civilians, yeah. Yeah, the cost to invade Japan was so high that they were concerned that it would cost 1 million American casualties plus who knows how many Japanese casualties, including civilians. Let's see, what do we have here? Let's see. We got the Cold War covered here. Although we got the Union Jack in there too, because technically there were 3 powers at the war, but the Brits were declining. Oh. I can't tell what language that is in, but it looks like a propaganda poster. Oh. Push the button to start video. What are you? Well, this is probably about the Cuban Missile Crisis. I bet you. Where's the button? Yeah, that's not a button. Right there, that's just like a cloth. see any button there. Maybe it's this one over here. Let's make sure. There we go. I'm gonna sit down on this bench here.
Following the end of World War II, relations deteriorated quickly between the United States and the USSR, one-time allies against the Nazis. This would come to be known as the Cold War. The division of Europe after the war had pitted the Western Allies and the Soviets against one another. The Allies pursuing a policy of containment and a rollback of communism. The Soviets pressing their plans of expansion and acquisition of puppet or satellite regimes throughout Europe that created a stranglehold described by Winston Churchill as an Iron Curtain. The American people, already nervous from newsreel images of a radioactive superweapon called the atomic bomb used against Japan, dreaded what everyone thought was inevitable, that Soviet Russia would soon become a fearful nuclear menace with their own superweapon to use against the United States. Communist spies were feared to be infiltrating every part of American life, causing the House Committee on Un-American Activities to begin hearings.
One more bullet point. We want to clean communism, but that's not it.
Again, the Cold War escalated, with a Soviet power play to control Western allies rebuilding in post-war Berlin, Germany. The result was a humiliating embarrassment of the Russians as the Western allies put forth a massive relief effort called the Berlin Airlift.
I learned about that in school.
Responding to Soviet aggression in Europe, the United States strengthened its position against the USSR and formally allied itself with the Western European states by establishing the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
NATO,
Wanting to
which
show
still
strength,
exists to this
Russia's
day.
premier, Joseph Stalin, pushed the Cold War to a crisis in 1949 as he ordered a test detonation of the first Soviet atomic device, sending a shockwave throughout the United States and its allies. At that moment, the atomic showdown began. And in only 5 short years, Russia would develop and airdrop test a menacing super hydrogen bomb on November 22nd, 1955.
Wow. I can feel that rumble in my seat.
The battle for nuclear superiority had begun.
Oh, and it resets us back, so nothing here about the Cuban Missile Crisis, I guess. Alright, well, that was pretty cool. Is that supposed to be... an American missile? Oh, it's American because it has English on it. I got you. And I like more of this period piece stuff here that looks like radioactive sign. looks like a vintage television from the era. Those look like hard hats and other memorabilia. And it looks like we started refining our design to get it smaller. Or this was the early days of the space race where we got the rocket engineers from Germany, von Braun, and they were moved to Fort Bliss thanks to the Operation Paperclip to help with the American rocket design too, which led to designs like the eventually like the Jupiter C missile, which was adapted to launch Explorer 1, America's first successful satellite launch. But at the same time, the Soviet Union had their own rocket engineer, Sergei Korolev, who was developing a design with the promise to the Kremlin leadership to make it for missiles, but all the time he wanted to launch satellites too. So they both eventually got around to it, but the Russians got there first, obviously. Oh, like another Union Jack right there.
Stop the fall because of low altitude. It was stopped at the bottom field release because of air turbulence or accidental pull of the release mechanism. The high explosive component of the Mark 17 exploded and created a crater 25 feet across and 12 feet deep. Fragments and debris were scattered as far as 1 mile from the point of impact. Recovery and cleanup operations were conducted and radiation measures were made at the event of the crater. No radioactivity was found in the area. Wow. There was a broken arrow here in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Did you find anything about the Tsar Bomba yet?
I don't know if this museum has that, but please.
It'd be interesting because it's the largest nuclear detonation in human history.
Wow.
And it was in 1961 by the Soviets.
Oh, okay.
And they dropped it and the parachute was deployed. It slowed it down, and so that the flight crew had enough time to get away. And then it detonated like 10 miles up or something like that. But they actually throttled it back. They only gave it half of the explosive potential that it could have had. But it's still the biggest detonation ever done on purpose in human history. And
Nice.
it's called the Tsar Bomba.
Okay. Nice.
So,
thank you for that. Thank you for that tidbit of information. I did not know that.
yeah. The historian in me always finds interesting stuff.
Absolutely. Pieces of lead. Pieces of aluminum. Pieces of like carbon. Pieces of steel. So I'm getting various pieces from the wreckage.
Fascinating.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh. Yep, this is a specialty of mine too.
Nice. Casimov with IL-28 fuselage creates interactive Cuba. 28 September 1952. Soviet ships. I believe that crisis was called the Bay of Pigs, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Bay of Pigs was before.
Oh, okay.
Bay of Pigs was in, I want to say March or April of 1961.
Oh, okay.
And then the Cuban Missile Crisis was where the Soviets thought that Kennedy would be a pushover, so that's when they started sending nuclear weapons to Cuba.
I get you. Okay.
Yeah.
Cuban Missile Crisis, the MRVA Launch Site 3, San Cristobal, Cuba.
U-2 spy planes.
Let's go back to the front. This is what the inside of the inside of the thruster cone looks like.
Yeah, there's the U-2. And that's a lot of the footage that was sent, the photos that were brought to President Kennedy at the time. Huh. What is this? That looks like a standard Jeep, but red. A 1958 Willys CJ5 fire engine. Interesting. Made out of a Jeep? Oh, I'm not sure what this is. A nuclear tourism. Oh, it's a model, and she's wearing something that looks like a mushroom cloud. That looks like interesting.
My gimbal finally died, so that's why I'm using my hands to carry my phone.
Export Lines officer uniform.
So I do need to buy a new one. Here is where we're getting into the how the atomic age affected modern pop culture
Yep.
with various movies like Damnation Alley, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Mad Max, China Syndrome, Atomic Energy Lab,
Don't forget
the Radium Fab.
Don't forget bikinis.
Oh, to the Florida Keys, that's right, yes.
The bikinis were in
Bikini Island, yes.
yeah, Bikini Atoll where a bunch of the testing was done in the Pacific.
Correct, yes. Hence the stories of the Big Lizard.
Yeah.
I'm not drawing a blank on his name.
Godzilla.
Thank you, Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, but Bikini Island in the atoll in the Pacific, and that's when they thought nuclear power was cool before they learned about it. And this French designer designed a bathing suit, a two-piece bathing suit, and called it Bikini after the island.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fortune and Hunting featuring an automatic bonus and penalties. Interesting. Act play in the atomic age. Superman, like more pop culture stuff came out of that. tricycle.
Is this like a board game or something?
It is, yes.
Hmm.
The name of this board game apparently is called Billionaire.
Huh. Interesting. Wonder if it's inspired by.
And $155 millimeter gun. This is a replica of the 155 millimeter gun.
Wonder if it's inspired by something like Monopoly or something like that. That's fascinating.
Looks like a puzzle. Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, the Hulk. Because the original Hulk was a nuclear detonation. The original comic book Hulk of the TV show. This is a very detailed model. Oh, there's. Is that a DeLorean?
Rated prices for uranium bearing on primary purchaser of uranium. $8,000 or more uranium sources above a set period.
Hey, look, guys. A flux capacitor, which is what makes time travel possible. But remember, we need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity. 1.21 gigawatts. Although the movie pronounced it the wrong way, they should have said gigawatts instead of gigawatts. Yeah. This is one of my favorite movies, of course. Oh, Arco, Idaho, the first city to be lit by atomic power. Hey, I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
1.21 gigawatts. Yep. Fun fact: if you go to there's a car parts store. I forget which one it is, but if you look up part number 121G, it shows one of these.
A flux capacitor?
Yeah, and it actually says flux capacitor, and it says not available. But it's really funny.
But anyway, yeah, my favorite, or one of my favorite movie trilogies of all time.
The pendulum scene. Oh, I see what you're saying. There. You're saying if you swing it, swing it. Swinging these.
Is this like an Einstein puppet? That's interesting.
And then over time, what happens? Like they will start, because of the rotation of the planet, they'll start like undulating like a snake.
Yes. Oh, what's this right here? That looks like that's this. Oh, that's the out.
Yeah, this is a balance our nano future. Balance the blocks on the table. Put each one where you think it belongs. Okay, so the various blocks are underneath.
Oh, gotcha.
So the very you take the various blocks that are on the table here, and you put it on this balance. Yeah, see how this thing tips.
Very easily, yes.
So you have to try to balance. You have to try to keep this thing in perfect equilibrium.
Mm.
And I'm sure the various blocks here weigh different amounts.
Yep. Interesting.
Sunlight. Oh, okay. So this is. Okay, these. Ooh. Oh, this is solar charge. Okay. So sunlight in the morning. That one doesn't work. Okay, so evening. Okay, so noon. Okay, so that one works for sunlight at noon, and then sunlight in the evening, showing how the positions of the sun and how they affect solar panels. So the one in the morning, I guess the bulb must be burned out on this one.
Gotcha. That's kind of cool, though.
And this is that cool fluid called ferrofluid. This is ferrofluid. There's a magnet at the end of this piece here. So if you take the magnet and you run it by the bottle here, you see the ferric fluid interacting with the magnet. That is fascinating.
Oh, let's.
This stuff's called ferrofluid.
Oh, I think I understand this one.
You move the black pieces up and down.
Oh, I got you.
There's a magnet. There's a magnet at the end.
Oh.
Like this.
Oh. Gotcha. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, I got it.
There you go. See, blind man is messing with the ferrofluid as well.
That's wild.
It is. It's really fascinating.
And if I pull it away, yeah.
It's a very fascinating substance called ferrofluid because it's got a lot of ferrous iron pieces in it. Fe being the symbol for Fe is the element symbol for iron. Therefore, ferro, F-E-R-R-O. So it's got iron. It's got
Look at that, it's dripping.
Inside the fluid.
If I let it go, it drips away.
Yo. Exactly. That's science.
Yeah. Blind man can do science sometimes.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens if I manipulate one and you manipulate one of the other ones directly across.
Ooh, interesting. Let's see what happens. There we go.
Do it at the same time.
All right.
There we go. Oh, we both got little clouds.
Oh, me. That is fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, there. Some is, if I pull it away, there it goes to you. Now it's coming back.
Yeah.
It's like gravity, kind of.
Correct. See, and then if I and then I pull it away, and it all goes back to you.
It goes.
That's the power of magnetism.
Yep. I'm never gonna give you up. I'm never gonna let you go.
Absolutely. Yeah, this ferrofluid is really fascinating.
Wow, that's fun. If I hold it down there for a while, it picks it all up.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and then it's flat there. Gotcha. Cool.
This stuff is called ferrofluid, and there's magnets at the end here. So the fluid on the inside it interacts with the magnets on these black tubes. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I tried.
Even helping a couch potato.
Yes.
When you fall off that
So you've
couch,
seen
you are
this
releasing
before.
your stored energy. If you burn a piece of wood, you release the energy contained in the wood, and you feel it as heat and see it as light.
Pretty wild.
If you ride your bike, the energy from your clutch and your legs turns the pedals and moves the bike forward. If you roll a bowling ball and knock some pins down, you have released the energy in the bowling ball and converted it to vibration, sound, and the motion.
That was fun to play with for a while. Oh, it's supposed to be Einstein explaining scientific principles. Okay, that's what that is.
You are producing.
Well,
When
that's,
you push your wheel down, pull open the door, or pick up your lunchbox, you are creating force. When you catch a frisbee, you are producing force because you are stopping the movement of the frisbee. Gravity is a type of force because it pulls on objects and keeps them anchored to the earth rather than floating off into space. Have you ever put a kitchen magnet on your refrigerator? Then you have observed another type of pulling force, magnetic force. How about another question?
let's try something else here. Okay, Einstein. E equals mc squared. Let's do it.
What does E equals mc squared mean? Yes, I thought you might ask me about that. Back in the day, that was the famous formula that made me a household name. It was 1905, my miracle year. A storm broke loose in my mind, and I made a discovery about the relationship between energy and mass. I realized that mass and energy are equivalent and can be converted into one another. The mass of an object is its energy content. Put another way, material objects are a sort of frozen energy. Mathematical equations are scary, I know, but stick with me. My equation simply shows that we can measure the amount of energy in any object if we know its mass. First, we calculate c squared, which is the speed of light times the speed of light. That is a humongous number. Then we take the object's mass and multiply it by the humongous number. The answer is E, the amount of energy stored in the object. Also a really big number. You can see that the more mass an object has, the more energy it has. If the n number increases, then the E number will increase too. You can also see that
Be cool if they had something from the Fallout series.
Right?
Like a Pip-Boy or something. More travels coming soon. To see something else I've done recently, click on the left or the right. I'm not sure where it's going to be exactly because I am blind.